Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast, the place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, meets movies, as well as inspiration. Of course, I am your host, King Von Jr. Of course, you can follow me on social media on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, of course, you can follow me on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. On Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. You can follow the show's Twitter page at Victory Pod 1. You can also follow the show's you can also follow the show's Instagram page at Victorious Ones Podcast. Anyway, apologies for that. Yeah, like I said, of course, you can follow on Instagram, Twitter. Of course, you can also subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/at Von Resper Jr. Of course, I'm the social media producer for the Unpopular Reviews Wrestling Show, Perfect Plex Talk Radio, hosted by Mike Knox on Mondays at 6 p.m. And so of course, there's a lot to cover. First and foremost, I want to say, how about the Cowboys? Congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys for capturing the NFC East, division championship. And so, you know what I mean? Of course, speaking of championships, like I'm not going to celebrate way too early. I mean, it's just one. We're going to take it one game at a time. Like always. But speaking of championships, of course, for those that are watching wherever by way of YouTube or Facebook, of course, this is my brand new championship belt. This is the replica of the of the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And so of course, I'm proud to wear this, and of course, I'm certainly celebrating in more ways than one. You know what I mean? And by the way, for the record, originally I was gonna have special guests, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. Because she wasn't feeling well. But we have rescheduled for a later time. So just gonna give that disclaimer out there right now. But yeah, like I said, prayers for speedy recovery. But also, but of course, also like I said, it's gonna be a pretty big show. Of course, we're gonna go weekend wrestling. Of course, a huge twist and turn going to the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. As it pertains to Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Also, we're going to talk about the different scenarios when it comes to Roman, when it comes to which stories he's going to be involved in. Whether it's going to be with The Rock or whether it's going to be with Cody. And the different ideas and stipulations and theories that people want to throw out there. You know what I mean? And also, I'm going to talk about the NXT as well. So just a week in wrestling in itself, it's been pretty epic. And of course, last week, like I said, the reason why I recorded so early than what I normally was, because, like I said, because of a previous obligation, or not obligation, but something that an event that I really had to go to, but other commitments, whatever. But yeah. I'm still man aware. I still want to make sure that I maintain my consistency when it comes to when it comes to delivering a great product, delivering a great podcast. You know what I mean? And so of course, this is episode number 125. Can you believe it? You know what I mean? Like, this is absolutely amazing, spectacular, and I look forward to to carry this belt into WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania is really shaping up to be something pretty big, and of course, sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, of course, in regards to with regards to this past week's Smackdown. The bloodline sabotage the main event, but of course it backfired. So there was a triple threat match between AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. So originally, the winner would be the number one contender for Roman's undisputed WWE Championship for the Royal Rumble. So eventually, so of course, unfortunately, it's a no contest. So Roman in blood, of course, Roman and Bloodline thought that they were, doing themselves a favor, only for it to backfire, as Roman interfered in turn and made a no contest as he attacked, um, you know, as he attacked LA Knight, AJ, and Randy Orton. Little did he know that Nick Aldis would eventually turn the Royal Rumble match into a fatal four-way. So now Roman definitely has his hands full in more ways than one. And of course, I'll give a disclaimer for those that are watching by way of Facebook. If you click on the StreamYard link, if you want your name to be seen, please make sure to click on the StreamYard link and give Facebook your permission. Give Facebook your permission to show your name when you leave a comment. So, but yeah, like I said, as far as that, now instead of being Roman versus any one of them one-on-one, now it's going to be a fatal four-way, and so on. So as far as that, and of course, also I'm going to give the rundown of the results. Like I said, the main event, that was the main event as it ended in a no contest. In the other matches for SmackDown Friday, Kevin Owens defeated Santos Escobar via pinfall, carrying Cross, and the returning Authors of Pain joined forces, and so of course known as AOP, and they joined forces to lay out to attack Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. AOP, accompanied by none other than legendary manager Paul Ellering. Of course, he's the manager of the legendary. He was the manager of the legendary Road Warriors, Legion of Doom. You know what I mean? And so, of course, now he's the manager of the Office of Pain, AOP, and Paul Ellering. They've not been on WWE since 2020. So, of course, moments before the attack happened, Bobby Lashley declared his entry into the Royal Rumble. So, for the women's championship match, Io Sky defeated Michin by pinfall. After she hit finishing moonsault to retain the title. Butch and Tyler Bate defeated Pretty Deadly by pinfall following a double Tyler driver. So of course Bate was Butch's surprise tag team partner, and Ashanti Adonis, from Hit Row, asked their general manager Nick Aldis for opportunity. Aldis said he's a believer in Adonis, and of course has other things, also has things in mind, for the future. So now Hit Row's no more, especially since AJ Francis, aka Top Dollar, is not there no more. So it's just really just him by himself on an island. So now, of course, we're going to the recap of Raw. So, of course, Raw starts off with a promo battle between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And so, of course, along with that, Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura, they're fighting all throughout the arena. So of course, McIntyre opens up the show, by going after Damian Priest for interfering in the World Heavyweight title match last week against Seth Rollins, and so he also threatened to leave WWE like CM Punk did a decade ago. You know what I mean? So of course, after that, Punk's music hits as he comes out to the ring, and so after this, pretty strong promo battle, and of course, Drew McIntyre constantly attacked CM Punk's previous history with WWE. But of course, Punk's the last one that you want to, the last one that you really want to trigger like that. And so CM Punk, being a master on the mic, claps back, right? And so he claps back by addressing, the way Drew McIntyre short, like time after time. And so the segment ends with each of them promising to eliminate each other from the Royal Rumble. And so of course, sorry about that. If my bad. If you can hear. Hold on, I'll be right back. Hey, Dad. Sorry about that. I know if I know if you could hear the background, hear some of the stuff in the background. But yeah, like I said, of course, Drew McIntyre definitely made sure to bring his A game. But of course, when it comes to standing toe to toe with with one of the best ever on the microphone, let's call it what it is. Even though I've had some of my feelings about Punk because of like I said, because of the way he talked about Roman and WWE previously and things like that, and his checkered history with the AEW and whatnot. But at the same time, I still have to give him his credit. Like when it comes to mic skills, he is definitely a wordsmith, and of course he knew how to fire back. Like I said, when necessary when it came to that promo battle. But of course it was definitely a great way, for Drew to step his game up on the mic, and so of course, sorry about that. Of course, um, Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura ended up having a street fight, and Cody defeats Shinsuke with Crossroads. Of course, obviously, as we all know, the match got off, to a very chaotic start. Because of how chaotic this rivalry in and of itself is. So I see it, and of course, I believe it's going to culminate at the Royal Rumble. As Cody continues his story. It's like whatever. But of course, the other matches that went on, as far as Raw was concerned, as far as my recap, is that Tommaso Ciampa defeated Finn Balor pinfall. Kofi Kingston defeated Luke Kaiser via disqualification after Kaiser brutally attacked him outside the ring, driving Kingston's head into the steel steps with a running dropkick. And so, of course, of course, Kaiser was saying that that Kofi went after Giovanni's head, and so now he's going after his. So that was his retribution. That was his payback for what happened to his Imperium tag team partner. And of course, after that, we see Nia Jackson, Rhea Ripley, have exchange of words, have exchange of words in the ring. And so for me, at least in my estimation, I'm just going to put it out there. Honestly, not just for the Royal Rumble, but honestly, really for WrestleMania, I would much rather see Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship, because this would be a fresh new opponent for Rhea Ripley in terms of one-on-one. I feel as though Nia can be Rhea's kryptonite, and Nia is on an amazing roll. Especially with the major win that she got last week over Becky Lynch, right? And so I feel as though it's very important that you carry that momentum as far as you can. So it's just like, I feel as though that this would definitely be a breath of fresh air, for Nia to defeat Rhea. You know what I mean? And so Rhea has been, it's just been bulldozing anyone that's been in the way, and so I feel as though it'd be great for her to lead a match against Nia at WrestleMania. And so of course I'm looking for Nia to win the women's Royal Rumble and challenge Rhea. So that's just my prediction. That's just my my estimation. That's my perspective. So of course, as far as that, now of course along with that, of course with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, KC Square, as I call them, Katana Chance and Candy Carter, defeat Chelsea Green and Piper Niven via pinfall after hitting the after party on Chelsea Green. So of course, R-Truth started the vignette explaining how Judgment Day is his destiny, and it was hilarious. R-Truth is a national treasure. This vignette, like what they have photoshopped with Judgment Day, and everything like that. Saying that he was born to be with Judgment Day. It was meant for him to be with them and whatnot. Like I said, this is comedy gold. And R-Truth is a national treasure. R-Truth is a future Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Not just for a gimmick, but just for just for what he means to WWE. You know what I mean? Just his body of work. Like I said, just just his importance, just his significance. I mean, he's one of, if not the most likable guy uh, in that entire locker room. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how can anybody say any bad word about R-Truth whatsoever? And for him to be in the storyline for Judgment Day, it just adds, um, it just gives a whole new life to it. You know, it just injects a whole, whole new, like just whole new blood with the Judgment Day. You know what I mean? So like I said, I like how it's just a different change of pace. However, things have not been looking so great for Judgment Day on Monday. Obviously, as I said previously, um, with Tommaso Ciampa beating Finn Balor, and also Miz defeated JD McBobblehead by pinfall after hitting him with the skull crushing finale. And so, and of course, backstage, the disgruntled members of Judgment Day said that that something needs to change, and so we're just looking to see what that change is going to look like. And so of course, Seth Rollins just shut down just Jinder Mahal after war of words. You know what I mean? So like you just clap back and put him in his place. So now there's going to be a world title match between them next week, and so of course we see Ivar defeat Otis via pinfall after hitting him with the top rope moonsault. So that's of course that's the recap when it comes to when it comes to SmackDown, when it comes to Raw, and of course when it comes to NXT, of course first and foremost the main thing I want to cover is congratulations to Obafemi for becoming the new NXT North American champion. North American champion as he defeated Dragon Lee, and of course the funny thing about it is that right before Dragon Lee's match with Obafemi, we saw Dragon Lee. We saw Dragon Lee and Lexis King. Of course, sign a contract. Sign a contract to have a match, and Ava Raine was right in between them. So they're standing right outside of Shawn Michaels' office, doing this contract signing. Little did anybody know that Dragon Lee, would lose the belt in epic fashion. And so now Lexis King played himself. You know what I mean? In the words of DJ Khaled, congratulations, you played yourself. So if anything, that was for me, I would say that was the biggest headline. That was the biggest highlight of NXT. You know what I mean? And so so as far as that, I like how NXT is just like I said, it's just sorry about that. It's just investing so much into the future. I hope nobody sorry about that. Of course. Sorry about that. Like I said, as far as the results for NXT, Blair Davenport defeated Nikita Lyons. As a matter of fact, NXT started off with Blair and Nikita having a fight, and so of course this leads into a match as Davenport defeats Lyons. Of course. Like I said, as far as that, as a matter of fact, Blair Davenport was the women's like Iron Survivor, whatever, for Deadline. So and of course after that we see Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin put their differences aside as they defeat Gallus in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Along with that, we see Josh Briggs defeat Oro Mensah. And of course, Oro Mensah, as we all know, is part of Meta-4. And so of course, Meta-4 try to do, the usual trickery of shenanigans or whatever. But but of course, obviously, it wasn't going to work for Briggs. He was definitely not going to be outsmarted and managed to knock out. Knock out Mensah with a huge clothesline for the win, and of course, the NXT Tag Team Champions the family defeat OTM. And of course, after that, we see Cora Jade defeat Gigi Dolan. Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeat Hank Walker and Tank Ledger, and another match with Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Of course, actually, excuse me, actually, Dragon Lee and Lex King, of course, initially did have their match. So of course, Dragon Lee retained the titles as he defeated Lexus, only for Obafemi, to cash in his to cash in as the number one contender, and of course he dethroned Dragon Lee rapidly match to become the new NXT North American champion. So excuse me for stammering over my words, but like I said, it was a very historic match, or rather historic moment. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to Obafemi, I believe he's the first NIL athlete to win the title. You know what I mean? So of course, let me see. As a matter of fact, I saw something on here. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I said, this was absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, he's only 22 years old. He is he's also of Nigerian descent. You know what I mean? And so, as a matter of fact, here it is. By way of Twitter, Obafemi is the future. Sorry about that. Obafemi is the first NIL athlete to win a WWE title. As I said, he's the youngest North American champion ever. He's an NXT Men's Breakout Tournament winner, and all only at the age of 22 years old. So it's clear that Obafemi is the future of WWE. You know what I mean? Like, and NXT is just the first road to that. And so, you know what I mean? It's of course, like I said, I'm proud to see his success, and I look forward to seeing more of what he's going to do. And the thing about it is, I know that he's going to have a sensational, phenomenal ride as the NXT North American champion. And so, it's just like this guy. You could tell something about him, that he has an X factor. He has an if factor. You know what I mean? He has that. I mean, I'll just say it like this. He just screams money. Just looking at him, you already know that the dollars are being printed. You know what I mean? So so it's just like this. This is just this is just the first stop of many incredible things. You know what I mean? And so I believe that he is what a lot of us want to see more from Omos. I don't know what they're doing with Omos right now, but you know what I mean. Like I see, with all due respect, with all due respect to him, it's just like from what we're seeing with. I mean, even though, like I said, Obafemi just started, but still, for him to have such a meteoric push so early, that just lets you know that like I said, he's a massive investment, a major investment. They're heavily, pushing him. It really just putting so the proverbial rocket on his back. You know what I mean? And so, and I think one thing about Shawn Michaels is, as I always give him credit, he has a great vision, great eye for talent. You know what I mean? And so, and it's pretty evident, it's pretty obvious. With the talent that's being produced in NXT, and Obafemi is the guy that can be the future MVP of NXT and just the future of WWE in general. Can you imagine a match with between Obafemi and Braun Breaker? I'll go even further. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. That in and of itself. Now, of course, I know that for many of us as Black fans, Brock Lesnar can be a very sensitive topic, especially when it comes to anybody who's a Black WWE champion. But this could certainly be a change of pace. If Lesnar made a pit stop to NXT, hopefully not to take the belt off of him, because we know Brock Lesnar's reputation when it comes from him and Black champions. Not very favorable, but yeah, like I said, when I see over Femi, you know, what I mean, like I said, much like early Lesnar, you just see nothing but dollar signs. You can see nothing but great marquee potential. You know, and as far as that, also, um, obviously, like I say, I'm also on the outside of the NXT North American Championship. Um, like I said, it's like I said, it's very intrigued to see the direction that that they take when it comes to when it comes to the situation with the NXT Championship, especially with being injured and the way that Carmelo Hayes try to jeopardize Trick Williams' number one contender spot, by throwing him in a match that he didn't expect. Thankfully, he won last week against Grayson Waller, but come on, dude, it's just like you didn't have to do that. That wasn't cool at all. That's very much shout to Stephanie Hardy, and she said that was a crabs in a barrel mentality. You know what I mean? Like that's very selfish. You know what I mean? So it's just like I mean, if you're a real friend, you would let your friend be great. You know what I mean? You would let them achieve greatness. You know what I mean? Even when you're not the focal point, even when you're not in the spotlight. You know what I mean? So that was a huge L on Melo's part. But like I said, this is very much a slow burn, if you will. But I think it's going to be heating up probably quicker than we expect. So, and as a matter of fact, I mean, can you imagine a match with Open Femi versus Trick Williams? You know what I mean? So, it's like, of course, and also I like how NXT incorporates so many people that are former athletes in other places. Obviously, as I mentioned with Open Femi, you look at Trick Williams, who's a former football player, former wide receiver, Lash legend, former basketball player. I think she still holds like some NCAA women's record for rebounds or something. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and also a Braun Breaker, former football player himself. So with WWE scouting natural athletes in other areas of sports, it's a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I love to see it. It's absolutely amazing. And it just to see these athletes from these different fields make the transition and see their growth, and see their improvement. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's something that that's I'm always fascinated. I'm like I said, if anything, I'm always very much, very much intrigued. I definitely like to see nothing but the best for them. And so of course I'm like I said, I'm a huge supporter. Like I said, over Femi now. You know what I mean? Like I said, my eyes are locked in on him now at this point. You know what I mean? Like I said, like I certainly want to see Trick Williams eventually become the NXT champion. I want to see Lash Legend improve more and more by leaps and bounds. And so of course, when it comes to NXT, the future is very, very bright. You know what I mean? So like I said, I certainly have faith. Certainly believe that NXT is in great hands, and HBK is absolutely leading the way. He's leading the charge, and of course, every Tuesday night, I am glued to the TV to see what else lies in store for NXT. But now, on to more pressing issues, if you will. As we're talking about stories, right? Um, with the aforementioned Cody Rhodes, who I talked about earlier, with his match against Shinsuke Nakamura, right? Cody's whole thing is finishing the story, and You know, there is a certain section of the IWC that clearly don't see the dollar signs of Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, even though it's right in your face. You know, that is marquee box office, material, regardless of um, how things fell through last year at WrestleMania. My thing is, as long as The Rock, is open and available and committed to to going into a WrestleMania storyline, why not put him in the main event? You know, uh, for those who want to propose this ridiculous, so I call it ridiculous idea of Rock and Roman having their match, having their one-on-one match at Elimination Chamber instead of WrestleMania, you have got to be absolutely fooled. You might have CTE. You might have to be drug tested for whatever it is that you're using. You know what I mean? Um, you know, put the drugs down. You know what I mean? Just say no. You know, it's not natural. You say you just say no. You know what I mean? So, like I said, for people that don't want to see Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, you know what I mean? It's just like, you must be on whatever stuff that Walter White was using in Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on now, you got to be talking insane. You've got to be talking in circles to think that Rock versus Roman. You know what I mean? It's like you got to be talking in circles and thinking in circles to think, to even suggest that Rock versus Roman should not be at WrestleMania. This event prior to that, are you crazy? Like, are you high? Are you drunk or something? Like, really? Like, you got CTE or something like that? To even insinuate that, to even entertain, the idea of Cody, being in that main event spot instead of The Rock. That's ridiculous. Cody could have his little Mr. Rogers bedtime story, Reading Rainbow bedtime story, whatever that is, Dr. Seuss story, any other time, but not for the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, not at The Rock's expense, because as far as I'm concerned, the story that matters the most is the story with The Rock and Roman, because this is for me, when it comes to this bloodline story arc, this is the final chapter. This is the culmination, because because Roman has talked about being the tribal chief, the head of the table. So now he gets to go one-on-one with the original head of the table, the original tribal chief, The Rock himself. Because of the way that The Rock, paved the way. He's even though he's still on the shoulders of of his elders as well. But the thing about it, when it comes to mainstream success, popularity, championship success, championship pedigree, and all this other type of stuff, The Rock is the gold standard. The Rock is the measuring stick. You know what I mean? And so for Roman to get a win over The Rock at WrestleMania, and just the different elements that they could throw in there when it comes to their family dynamic and incorporate that into the storyline. The fact that Paul Heyman was talking to Ava Raine on the episode of NXT, trying to recruit her into the bloodline. I mean, the fact that they even threw that in there, the fact that you even tie that in, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just so much more material that you can work from, right? So if Cody wants to have a story, why not have a story with Randy Orton? For all I care, right? It doesn't have to be at the expense of the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. Come on now. Like I said, the thing about it is that Cody doesn't have to always be doesn't always have to be guaranteed a main event spot. Let's stop, okay? Because prior to him leaving and going to New Japan and AEW and stuff, nobody was checking for Cody at all whatsoever. This guy doesn't even have a world title on his resume. and the nerve to even insinuate that he should be uh, in that spot at WrestleMania instead of the People's Champion, the great one, regardless of how we feel about his schedule and, and everything like that, whatever. But the thing is, The Rock brings dollars. The Rock brings business. The Rock brings eyes to the TV. People who are what you consider casual fans, have no clue about Roman Reigns, anything else like that, but they know who The Rock is. That is who you cater to. You cater to those fans. You know what I mean? Not the internet diehards or whatever. You cater to fans like that. You cater to fans that were like, yeah, I used to watch wrestling back when it was The Rock and Stone Cold, whatever. That is who you cater to. The fact that The Rock is back, like that is what gets their attention. You know, not some guy who has a hero complex. Not some guy who looks like a Ken doll with a hero complex. What I mean. So it's just like, come on now, like no, like Cody wants to have the same type of natural adoration that his dad had, but come on now, it's just like it's just certain crowds that Cody's not gonna like cater to like that, but I mean, come on now, like The Rock's far more recognizable. You know what I mean? And the thing about it, like I said, Rock's gonna bring way more money. Last time I checked, last time I checked, we all, like I said, we all want more money, right? You know, I mean, if you don't want The Rock at WrestleMania, does that mean that you don't want money? That you don't want, even bigger money up front? Come on now, like seriously, you know what I mean? Like The Rock automatically prints money. Anytime you have The Rock's face on anything, that prints money. And so for this whole debate about, like Rock versus Roman or Rock versus Cody, it almost feels like choosing. It's almost like a video game. We choose a certain path or choose a storyline. You know what I mean? It's almost like a road to WrestleMania type of thing. Like you get to choose which road to WrestleMania you want to go to. You know what I mean? Like the Cody road, expression to WrestleMania, or the road to WrestleMania versus The Rock. You know what I mean? Like this, it feels like a video game. We have to decide which story that you want to be a part of, which road to WrestleMania do you want to be a part of. And so for me, if this was a game, I would choose the Rock story. What I mean, because it's just like, to me, this is what ultimately this bloodline thing is all about. Roman is facing sort of the final boss, and the thing is, I remember there were people that were brainstorming this online, and the thing is, of course, I've gone along with it. And the things I've said this before. I feel as though, especially when it comes to the 40th anniversary, is to make up for for not happening in Hollywood, which I would have preferred, but still, you know what I mean. Like it's just like there's so many more layers in history when it comes to Rock versus Roman instead of Roman versus Cody. There's way more history. The fact they even had that Easter egg in Young Rock, where they had the kid Roman say, "Acknowledge me." You know what I mean? Like they're already planting seeds right there. Even though it's taken a year, for this to eventually manifest, but still, at least we get, and like I said, because of their family history, because they are two of the most accomplished members of their family, of their Anawani dynasty. Rock number one, Roman number two in terms of the most accomplished, the most decorated, I mean, the highest profile, um, most historic, most transcendent, superstars of that family. With all due respect to Yoko's and rest in peace, but they have eclipsed him. They've moved the needle even further, and so um, this is what dream matches are all about. How that looks in real life, let's just say they're gonna have to use a lot of smoke and mirrors. Roman's gonna have to carry more weight in the match, but it is what it is. So whatever. Much like how Rock had to carry more weight in that WrestleMania 18 match versus Hogan, icon versus icon. So every now and then, of course, you're gonna have situations where WrestleMania was a torch passing. WrestleMania 3 was Andre passing the torch to Hogan. You could say WrestleMania 6 was sort of Hogan passing the torch to Warrior. Didn't really work out that well. WrestleMania 18, Hogan passed the torch to The Rock. WrestleMania 29, Rock passed the torch. WrestleMania 29, Rock passed the torch to Cena. And let's say so on and so forth. So forth. Sorry about that. Nobody's hearing in the background. Sorry about but of course, like I was saying before, like I said, this is another one of those torch passing moments, right? So Rock's already passed the torch to Cena. Why not pass the torch to your own cousin, right? I mean, why not? It's right there. It's written right there. It's tailor made. This is what a real story is all about. You know what I mean? This is box office. And so, like I said, the quality of the match remains to be seen because The Rock was looking very winded during that segment with Jinder Mahal. I mean, everybody can see it, but at the same time, look, you still have 90 days, and I believe that Dwayne can really, can definitely get it together for to make it a solid match on his end. Now, hey, I'll say it like this: if they do interact at Elimination Chamber, at least like face-to-face type of thing, I wouldn't be mad at that. But my thing is, as long as they have the match at Mania, that is what matters the most. You know what I mean? And so it's all about ticket sales, putting butts in seats. Last time I checked, The Rock specializes in that more so than Cody. Cody can have his story at any other time, but not at Roman's expense and not at The Rock's expense. I don't even want to see a triple threat match. I just want to see Rock versus Roman one-on-one. As a matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to Dream Match Wrestling because they even made a Dream Match shirt with The Rock versus Roman. And of course, originally it was expected to be a Hollywood, but see the here nor there. But like I said, the fact they even made a shirt about that was pretty cool. You know what I mean? So as far as like some of Rock's dream match opponents, Roman's definitely on that list. For Roman's dream match opponents, The Rock is definitely on my list for that as well. So as far as that, but yeah, like I said, the thing about it is that you have to look at, in the words of Triple H and WWE, look at what's best for business, and so, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing for business, if people really know what's good for them, I don't mean to sound like that, but what's best for business, in my estimation, is obviously Rock versus Roman, and side note, as I'm watching this game, the Warriors are not doing what's best for business right now, but that's it's a whole other story here. You know what I mean? But of course, the head of the table versus the great one, the Brahma Bull, the Tribal Chief versus the Brahma Bull. I mean, and it's going to be a electrifying event. You know what I mean? And I firmly believe that the crowd is really what's going to gonna give the most energy to that match, much like the WrestleMania 18 match. So now at this point, I feel as though, well, I mean, even though it already happened in WrestleMania 29, but the Rock right more than ever is in that is in that that Hogan position from WrestleMania 18. You know, where he's the larger than life icon, passing the torch to so passing the torch to the younger lion, and so the younger lion is his cousin, and so usually in this torch passing situations, it just further confirms um, or affirms um, who the face of the company is. It's just further affirmation as far as I'm concerned. You know, Roman has already been that guy for the past 4 years. And so this is just like I said, this is just culmination. This is just the coronation officially at WrestleMania, like just to further cement that. That's really what it is. And now I know there are scenarios where people throwing say you could do Rock versus Roman in night one, and then Roman versus Cody in night two, whatever. If you want to kill two birds with one stone, you go ahead and do that, right? But also you can say that this match doesn't have to be a title match. It could just be a matter of bragging rights. It could just be a matter of legacy. Like I said, once again, a torch passing moment. And last night on Turnbuckle Talk, definitely got very shaky, very feisty, to say the least, if you will. But it's certainly sparked certainly sparked the conversation, and further reveal some very surprising points, if you will. And so once again, as I said before, and I'll say it again, once again, so sorry, um, you know, Rock versus Roman. This is the culmination of of the Bloodline storyline, and also when it comes to Mania, I will say this: so I certainly would like to see Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. And somebody else brought this up. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a world where The Rock and CM Punk could walk out of WrestleMania as WWE champions? I mean, this could definitely be, like a bizarre land situation if that were to happen. It's just because of those possibilities. But like I said, um, you know, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia is going to be another movie, just like WrestleMania 39 last year in Los Angeles. And so like I said, I'm very much excited, especially with this new belt, along with the Winged Eagle title. You know what I mean? Of course, with Wild Mania, all these different festivities. But of course, um, you know, we could definitely, of course, we could definitely go more into detail about that, about that later down the road, as we get closer to the event. You know what I mean? So of course, so main thing I just want to share my thoughts and my perspective on, like I said, on what story really matters the most. And so of course, I'm thankful for those that have tuned in to watch another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast. And once again, if you are interested in my merchandise, you can head over. Sorry about that. Yeah, once again, you can head over to this link at the bottom of the screen for those that are watching by way of Facebook Live or YouTube. Of course, the podcast podcast merchandise is at victoriousones.bigcartel.com, and I'm certainly the works of more to come. So please make sure to stay tuned. So, of course, once again, thank you very much for those that tuned in to watch tonight's episode, and I want to say thank you for those that will, that can even watch on the replay and listen on the playback or whatever the case may be. And any type of support that you give is very much needed. So thank you very much for watching, and of course have a great and spectacular night.